Thanks for joining us for GAB with Alisa Profiles on MetroCast Channel 10. Coming up in just a moment, we're going to profile a woman entrepreneur, a small, successful business in Southern Maryland. What does it take? What maybe do you have that'll make you successful? We're going to profile a woman who's really brought an incredible business to Southern Maryland, talk about her family, and her business, and hopefully encourage those of you that may be considering jumping into those waters of having your own business as well. GAB with Alisa Profiles today as we profile Susan Pearce Ditch of Chesapeake Pet Resort and Day Spa. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching MetroCast Channel 10.
Being your best is all about how you feel inside and out. If you feel good, you look good. Hi, I'm Dawn Campbell. Join me on MetroCast Channel 10 for Be Your Best. I'll show you creative ways to dress for success, give you quick health and fitness tips, and daily ideas for living the life you were meant to live. Be Your Best airs weekdays exclusively on MetroCast Channel 10 and is brought to you by Fitz Auto Mall.
Hi, this is James Lepore. Do you know what St. Mary's County is buzzing about? If you don't, then tune into MetroCast Channel 10 to find out. The Buzz is a weekly entertainment program featuring artists, performers, and entertainers from the area. Find out where the hot spots for entertainment are this weekend. We've got the scoop on all the fun each week on The Buzz. The Buzz is brought to you on MetroCast Channel 10 by Birch Propane. Efficient, environmentally friendly propane. Call for details, 301-373-2131.
You're watching GAB with Alisa Profiles on MetroCast Channel 10. And as you can see, today is the twins version. We're going to profile Susan Pearce Ditch, who is a woman entrepreneur in Southern Maryland. Susan, welcome to the show. And do we have the same wardrobe person?
Thank you. I'm not sure what happened, but we didn't plan this. So.
No, we didn't. When Susan came into the studio, I looked at her, she looked at me, and we said, great minds think alike. Purple it is. Susan, I really appreciate that you're going to join us on Profiles today and sit and talk. You've done some advertising with MetroCast Channel 10. People have seen you with the Chesapeake Pet Resort and Day Spa. And we've talked about your dogs and your cats and your people. But on this show, we want to talk about you. And we want to delve into the things that make you tick.
Good luck.
First of all, you have a really interesting background. Let's talk about your degree, where you went to school, and kind of do the whole lineup about how you got where you are today.
Well, first off, thank you for having me. This is a great opportunity. I'm really happy to be here, and we always enjoy working with MetroCast Channel 10. And it has been an interesting journey to this point. I actually attended St. Mary's College of Maryland way back in the 80s, where I had my undergraduate degree in biology. Amazing experience. I just loved St. Mary's College, and definitely recommend it for anyone that is looking for that. My master's degree is actually in environmental management, and from there I worked for many years in the environmental field, specifically water quality, drinking water quality, wastewater quality. So quite a very different background from some of the skills that I'm using now. But after working in the corporate world and professional world for many years in different levels of management position, I decided that, you know, there's got to be more to life, and I just really was looking to create a lifestyle for me that would allow me to, one, live in a country environment where I really love nature and enjoy being in nature, and to create a business and a business model that I was really passionate about, which of course in this case is pets and taking care of pets and their families.
And you really do that. I think that's the thing that I find most interesting about you is you have a background in science, in biology and environmental management. That's very scientific, that's very very straight rows, if you will, in what you do, but you have transferred that knowledge and that background into doing a business that is very creative, and no 2 days and no 15-minute time periods are ever the same.
Every day is very different, and you bring up a good point. I'm coming from a very methodical, analytical, protocol type environment. However, in many ways, a lot of the skills that I learned in my professional background, I've implemented in our business plan here, and I think has led to a lot of our success, namely the degree of details that we follow, and specifically our cleaning protocols. I think that has really set us apart, and the degree that we do look for details and anything that might be out of the norm for any particular pet on any given day, the middle of the night. As you know, many a night I'm over there in the middle of the night checking on a pet that I might have a feeling about, might need some extra attention, etc.
And you really do take care of people's pets like they were your own pets or your own people. Let's talk about things for a little bit from the business perspective, because we really wanted to encourage anybody that might be watching about opening up their own business or becoming an entrepreneur or moving forward with your entrepreneurial dream. First of all, it's hard.
It is it's a lot of work. In retrospect, I think I really underestimated the degree of time that it would take, and I've literally involved blood, sweat, and tears for over 12 years now. And in fact, many years prior to that, another factor I think that's led to our moderate to above average success is doing a lot of pre-planning. If you are interested in looking into a business, I suggest reading as much literature as you can find on your particular subject, and you may ultimately find out it's not for you. But as I delved more and more into doing research, I would take specific classes related to the pet care. I took a couple part-time jobs in the pet care industry to get a feel for it. I even went as far as flying out to Denver, Colorado. There was a group at the time called the American Boarding Kennels Association, and took a several-day seminar just to get as much knowledge as I could. And certainly, having grown up with pets, I had a very good working knowledge of caring for pets. But I wanted to make sure that I hit the ground running as the best facility that we could be. And first aid classes, first aid for pets, just doing a lot of research in advance.
In retrospect, are you glad that you did not know what you did not know?
I think overall my experience has been a very positive one, and
Great.
I've been very blessed in many ways and have learned so much. But I've learned so much more than I ever imagined. And even in doing so much research and preparation, it never really prepares you for everything that comes your way. And in fact, as you said, every day at our facility is very different, and you just don't know who's coming through the door or over the phone or what scenario is happening. In retrospect, I think because I've done this all on my own from the start, I think it probably would have been wiser to have someone come in with me, a family member, a partner perhaps. I was not married at the time, but certainly I think for the amount of time and energy required for this operation, having additional people to support you would be a great asset. Because when you're starting out, it's very time consuming and just requires a lot of additional help. But as I got moving farther along and brought in more and more people to help me, we got ourselves on track. That's
a big thing for you, isn't it? Having people support you in the different arenas of your life.
It is, and I think that's one of the factors that also really sets us apart. In fact, I've spoken to some of our other friends in related businesses in their area, and they're always amazed how much staff we have. But from the get-go, I wanted to ensure that the pets were, one, clean, safe, well taken care of at all hours of the day and night, and that takes a lot of people. And I've been very fortunate over the years. We've really built up an amazing staff. Some that have been with me many years. Mary, of course, my manager, has been with me almost 10 years. I have several other really phenomenal staffers that help me. But for me, from the beginning, it was never about starting a business to make a bunch of money. And I think that's something that has also helped us do well. But just focusing on what you're passionate about and doing the best you can do is really what has done us well.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about that passion when we come back, because passion has a lifespan, and you have to do something to go back and fan those flames again, especially when things get hard. And you mentioned starting the business on your own. You were by yourself, you were good to go, and then you had some really wonderful life changes, but they in turn became challenges. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about passion, and we're going to talk about what to do when, oh my gosh, I did not see that coming, comes. We'll be back in just a moment with more GAB with ALisa profiles as we profile Susan Pearce Ditch in just a moment on MetroCast, Channel
10. It's a growing problem in our community, and you probably know somebody who's been affected. It's the scourge of pills and heroin. Between 2012 and 2013, heroin investigations by the Sheriff's Department has increased by 58%. And pills, such as Percocet, Oxycodone, Oxycontin, Vicodin, and Hydrocodone are often abused, winding up in the hands of our youth. Now's the time to address the problem. Parents, talk openly to your kids about the dangers of abusing and misusing heroin and pills. Though they may think otherwise, we know that they are not invincible. Parents, you are the anti-drug.
You're watching GAB with ALisa Profiles on MetroCast Channel 10. Thanks for coming back and joining us again. We're profiling Susan Pearce Ditch, who is an entrepreneur of unimaginable spirit and valor.
Please.
Really, you are one of the bravest people I've ever met. Put me in a room with a whole bunch of dogs or a whole bunch of cats, and I look something like... But you have a background in biology and sciences, and you decided you wanted to open up your own business and you wanted to take care of pets, and you started the Chesapeake Pet Resort. And this is what we wanted to talk about on the program, is how you become an entrepreneur and then how you survive that tendency. And when we left off, we were talking about passion, because you're very passionate about animals, and I don't think that's ever waned over the course of your life. But being passionate about staying in business for yourself, how do you refresh that or fan those flames?
Well, there's definitely some challenges. Certainly when you're starting a business, there's huge enthusiasm, and you're getting everything in place and getting set up. And as you get more comfortable with your operation and your staff and have everything in place, I think you need to find yourself taking a stance of looking outside the box and taking a big picture look at what's your operation doing, what's the best way to maintain it, what's the best way to move forward. And one of my biggest lessons and challenges has been, being able to bend and, flow with the changes that are constantly coming, and just looking ahead and making sure you're doing the best that you can with your current operation and being ready to move forward.
And you really kind of had to make that kind of an observation, because when you started your business, you were single and you could work 87 hours a week or what have you.
And fancy free. It was nothing for me to be up, out in the kennel at 6 in the morning and work till 10 at night. And it was amazing, and I loved it. I've never worked harder in my life starting this kind of business. But as life happens, I hadn't planned to marry. I didn't plan to have children, and I've been very blessed. I have an amazing husband now and a 7-year-old daughter that is really amazing. But that does add new challenges into running this type of business, which is a 24/7 operation every day of the year, Christmas, holidays. So you learn to bend, and some days I do better than others. Some days I stumble. But one of the biggest challenges I've had that I feel I try to do a pretty good job is, no matter what happens, you have to get back up. You've got to keep going. Some days I just scratch my head and go outside with my screen pillow and just say, oh my gosh, how am I going to overcome this? But as the sole owner, you realize very quickly you're in charge. There is no one else that's going to make that decision. And I had the buffer in my previous professional life. There was always someone else, another boss, another manager that, if push came to shove, you could get some assistance. But in many ways, I've grown in many levels as a person professionally, learning to deal with different challenges. But and owning your own business has a lot of challenges, because you're responsible for, first of all, for other people's pets. Then you have a staff, so you're responsible for that. And I want to touch on real briefly something else, because I really would like to showcase the kind of person you are. You meet a challenge, and you talk about having a scream pillow. You meet a challenge and you really go full force with it. And let's talk a little bit about your little girl, your pride and your joy. My daughter Hannah, she's amazing. She does have some special needs, and certainly as a parent, you just you want the best for your child, and life just throws some challenges at you, and you go with it. And we are working with Hannah and doing whatever we need to do to get her where she needs to be. And she goes to an amazing school in the area, King's Christian Academy, and we just love that facility. And they're such a support for us. They work with us, and Hannah is just a big ball of energy. And as a mother, I want to do the best I can do. But as the mother of my first child, so to speak, Chesapeake Pet Resort is also 24/7 responsibility. So,
and you never know what kind of a day those children are going to have. They have 4 legs.
Many a days, or middle of the night, I may be, if a pet I don't think is feeling well, it's more than one occasion we're on the road in the middle of the night, headed to a veterinary facility to make sure the pet's okay. And while that's a rare occurrence, just because of the way I like to operate it, again, like they're my pets, if something's awry, and certainly pets, as we've gotten to know very closely, we have many customers who've been with us since the beginning, you just get a sense working with the pets. If something's not right, let's tend to it. And I think that's one of the things that's really drawn customers to us. In fact, we have many customers with senior pets, special needs pets. And some days I joke, I feel like this is the Sunny Acres Pet Resort, which, and I mean that endearingly, but we have pets that need a lot of attention, very specific medications they need at certain times, and again, bringing the right people in for staff, the right training, those are all really essential to make sure we continue to do the best we can.
And you really do. You are so detail oriented, and let me tell you, if you bring your puppy or your kitty cat there, they know not only your personality of the animal, but they also know their needs and what have you. And I think something that draws people to you is your sense of humor. And I don't mean ha-ha sense of humor, although your Facebook page, girl, is hilarious. It's your sense of humor, how you take everything that comes your way and you choose to look at it with good humor. And we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, let me tell you, Susan has some funny stories, because funny things... I know I've met people like you, but I don't think I've met people that articulate the way you do. She has some funny stories about some things that have happened with pets, and people.
I'm going to write a book one day.
Oh my gosh. It's going to be like The Help, only for pets and what has happened in the pet world. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching GAB with Alisa Profiles as we profile Susan Pearce Ditch on MetroCast Channel 10.
Being your best is all about how you feel inside and out. If you feel good, you look good. Hi, I'm Dawn Campbell. Join me on MetroCast Channel 10 for Be Your Best. I'll show you creative ways to dress for success, give you quick health and fitness tips, and daily ideas for living the life you were meant to live. Be Your Best airs weekdays exclusively on MetroCast Channel 10 and is brought to you by Fitz Auto Mall.
Hi, this is James Laporte. Do you know what St. Mary's County is buzzing about? If you don't, then tune into MetroCast Channel 10 to find out. The Buzz is a weekly entertainment program featuring artists, performers, and entertainers from the area. Find out where the hot spots for entertainment are this weekend. We've got the scoop on all the fun each week on The Buzz. The Buzz is brought to you on MetroCast Channel 10 by Birch Propane. Efficient, environmentally friendly propane. Call for details, 301-373-2131.
You're watching GAB with Alisa Profiles on MetroCast Channel 10 as we're talking to Susan Pearce Ditch. She owns Chesapeake Pet Resort and Day Spa, and we're talking a little bit about that because that's really interesting, but mostly we're talking about Susan because, Susan, things just happen to you. They just happen in your world. For instance, our purple wardrobe here, which is not planned in advance, and I just think it's funny because purple's not a color that everybody wears every day, but just the world that you're in, because you deal with pets and you deal with people and you deal with people and their pets. Funny things happen to you, and you really just face life with such a good attitude.
Well, I certainly try most days. Most of my close friends would probably tell you a different story, but I think dealing with the challenges head on is luckily a skill my parents instilled on me, that you don't give up, you just keep going. I think for anyone that's interested in starting your own business, you have to be willing to work and do whatever it takes. I mean, I've certainly found myself in situations, things I never thought I would have to deal with, and you hit it head on and you deal with it, and you just have to do what you need to do because sometimes you're the boss.
Right. Sometimes you do get knocked down. That is a reality, and it sounds very cliched and very trite to say it like that, but sometimes you get right between the eyes and you don't have the luxury, and it is a luxury, to stay there and cry for more than 5 minutes. You get up and get going. But let's talk about some of the things that have happened to you or that you have gone through.
Well, there's so many, and it's just been an amazing business, and that's one of the things I never planned on, was just the degree that we would actually be involved with some of our amazing families that have been with us for many years, and we actually become part of their families. But some of the stories, for example, at different times, because I'm always trying to think of what's around the next corner or thinking outside of the box. At different times we'll add on different pet services, and we also do a little bit with a pet taxi service. And at one time, we had a customer who actually really wanted us to take their pet to McDonald's every day for a little bye-bye in the car, we call it. So,
1 second.
It was fun.
You had a customer ask you to take their dog
Yes.
to McDonald's?
Well, we were offering doggy day rides, just something different to get the pet off the facility and off the grounds for a while. And of course, a lot of our family's pets love to ride in the car, so they asked we would take their pet to McDonald's for some French fries. So,
Alrighty then.
things like that we do. That comes to mind. Just a number. Every day is very different, and there's just so many stories that it just is amazing.
And it's funny because I can see you going through your Rolodex in your head thinking, I better not tell that on television.
I'm trying to
can't. The names are being protected to protect
some of the
concealed
censored versions. But, I'm really blessed as well to have amazing staff around me. And, there's many days we all just kind of look at each other and say, how are we going to deal with that one? But you do. And, I think one of the greatest joys for me in this business has been getting to know so many different people and being part of their families. We've learned so much, and certainly being our proximity here to Patuxent Naval Air Station, we have families from all over the world. At different times, we may have many families from Australia or the UK, and just, we don't get to travel a lot doing what we do here, but we get to hear some amazing stories from across the world and just some different things.
Like I said, you just face life with good humor. Funny ha-ha, because let me tell you, she is funny. But you just face it with such good humor. And I know that stands you in good stead, because it's known that it's how you think about something is how it is. Circumstances as well. But if you were able to mentor somebody, or if they're watching this show and they say, I'd like to start my own business, I think she makes it sound like something I can do and do well. What advice would you give to an entrepreneur?
Well, certainly I think for anyone that is interested in a business, you need to be passionate about it. You need to forget everything else, I don't have money to start it, and how am I going to do this? You need to find something you're really passionate about. And of course for me, it was pets. Pets have always brought me great joy. I've always been able to relate to them on levels that I knew that I could help them feel better, and in whatever situation they were in the kennel, for example, our pets are treated like they're in a hotel. We're constantly doing laundry. They have lots of fresh bedding, just making the pets comfortable. But in addition to being passionate, you do have to be realistic. You need to have a developed business plan. You need to do a lot of research, make sure that this is what you want to do, and are you willing to make the sacrifices based on other factors in your life? If you do have a family, are you going to be able to accommodate this, depending what type your business is? Now, certainly, our undertaking is a pretty huge responsibility, because you're taking care of people's kids for essentially, most part, family members value these pets.
They do.
Not only like family members, but sometimes, more than their children in some cases we've seen. So,
well, they don't talk back near as much.
And they don't. The pets or the customers?
The children. Or the pets don't talk back near as much as children.
You need to get a well-rounded experience in many different fields. In fact, in the rare chance when I do get to step back and look at what we have built and developed, the property, for example, required a huge amount of renovation, which for the last 12 years, we have just been funneling money into fixing the building up and adding new services and accommodations. And you need to be willing to spend money on things you never wanted to spend money on, or think you wouldn't have to. The human factor has been a pretty big challenge for me.
I bet.
Coming from a background during college, high school, for example, wasn't uncommon for me to be working 2 or 3 jobs at a time just to put myself through school, and I just naively assumed that all young people were willing to do that. And I've had a very big, wide awakening experience in learning different work ethics, etc. So you have to, again, think outside the box, and if there's an area you're not particularly skilled in, you need to read about it, network with people, put yourself around people in similar businesses. How do they react to certain situations? What would they do? And then, of course, we try to always be very proactive. One of our big policies is safety. Big storms, for example, that may come to the area, we plan in advance. We try to have a backup plan for a backup plan for a backup plan for any different scenario that may be coming our way. And of course, 5 other different scenarios will sideswipe you. But I think surrounding yourself with knowledgeable people that are excellent at what they do, and even if you're training them for the positions that you need. My best experience has been being part of the customers' families and growing with the staff that we've built.
Absolutely. Well, you can tell a good humor, good attitude, a realistic picture, and looking at the big picture are all things and skills that you have brought, which is why you have the success. Before we let you go, I want to kind of ask you an offhanded question. If you had the opportunity to spend time with an exotic animal.
Oh my.
Because she likes animals, so I'll give you a little second to spend time with an exotic animal. And I'm not talking about cages or zoos or anything that make people uncomfortable, but just to be up close and personal with an exotic animal.
It is an interesting question. The first one that comes to mind would probably be a Bengal tiger. I don't know why, but while we work a lot with dogs of all different breeds, the cats are amazing, amazing creatures.
Okay.
They have their own mindset, and you just never know what they're thinking. They're
Shall I eat you or shall I not?
A Bengal tiger, though, I don't know. It'd be a nice big kitty to have in the backyard.
Alrighty then. And that is why she is brave enough to own her own business. A Bengal tiger. I'm thinking, a penguin or something like that.
You said exotic.
I did say exotic, and she went right there, and it did take her long to think about it. Susan, you're wonderful. Thank you for what you do in our community. I know you help other people in business as well, and you do so much to bring such good service and good community involvement. So thanks for coming and sharing your life.
Thanks for having me here. This is a great opportunity. And, for anyone that might have questions and be interested in starting a business, you're welcome to come out and, pick our brains and just see what we do and get a feel for it.
Absolutely. And you can ask her more about her Bengal tiger fascination. That's going to do it for this episode of GAB with ALisa Profiles. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. You're watching MetroCast Channel 10.